Tony Grossi didn't just call Dylan Gabriel a loser. He lit a fuse in the middle of a quarterback powder keg that's been simmering in Cleveland. When a veteran Browns insider goes live on air and makes that kind of accusation, it's not just personal, it's political. It signals something deeper than frustration with Gabriel's performance. It's a reflection of a growing internal sentiment, one that now has a name: Shedeur Sanders.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
As Grossi drops his bomb, the entire locker room's shifting loyalties come into sharp focus, and Gabriel is left exposed in a way that's rarely survivable in today's NFL. What's brewing inside the Cleveland Browns is no ordinary quarterback competition. It's a full-blown cultural reset. Players like Jerry Jeudy and Myles Garrett are praising Sanders not just for his arm or athleticism, but for his preparation and leadership, things you can't fake in a locker room that demands authenticity. The Browns are tipping toward a new identity, one built on work ethic, command, and trust, and Gabriel, for all his pedigree, may be on the outside looking in. You're standing in the middle of one of the NFL's most chaotic quarterback controversies, and the air is thick with tension. The kind of tension that doesn't wait for Sunday. The kind that leaks out during practice, echoes through locker rooms, and blows up live on air, just like it did when longtime Browns insider Tony Grossi flat out called Dylan Gabriel a loser on television. No metaphors. No coded language. Just a full-stop character assassination in front of cameras. It wasn't just a hot take. It was a signal flare. A warning that the winds inside the Cleveland Browns organization are shifting fast, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss the quarterback switch everyone knows is coming. Shedeur Sanders hasn't even taken a real NFL snap yet, but based on what's happening behind the scenes, it's starting to feel like he's already the guy. Not the backup, not the rookie with potential. The guy. And Dylan Gabriel? The player once pegged to be the franchise quarterback? He's now walking a tightrope with no safety net, while the stadium around him starts chanting another man's name. This isn't just about performance. It's about leadership. It's about culture. And it's about the Browns, of all teams, possibly getting it right this time. Because here's what's really going down. Tony Grossi didn't wake up and throw out the loser label by accident. That was deliberate. That was loaded. That was a reflection of the murmurs already circulating within the organization. Grossi's never been shy, but when a team insider goes that far, that publicly, it usually means one thing. People in the building are already done with Gabriel, and they're using the media to start the clock on the next guy. Enter Shedeur Sanders. Let's talk about why players, veteran players, are already treating Sanders like a starter. Jerry Jeudy and Myles Garrett aren't out here giving hollow compliments. They're going on record talking about Sanders' work ethic, leadership, and football IQ like he's already in charge. That doesn't happen unless something is shifting inside the team. These are not casual mentions. This is full-on endorsement energy. When your top receiver and your defensive captain are praising a guy who hasn't even played a game, what does that tell you? It tells you they've seen enough to believe. And when you're a quarterback in a locker room, belief is the whole job. Gabriel, on the other hand, is clinging to what little starting credibility he has left. The same locker room that once rallied around him is now quietly shifting its weight toward the next man up. That doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without reason. And that reason? It's not just about who throws a tighter spiral. It's about who's in the coach's office early, who's in the film room late, who's already talking like a leader even before the huddle breaks. And by every account, that guy has been Shedeur Sanders. He's studying tape like he's already starting, scheming plays like he's already reading defenses on Sundays. He's winning over the veterans before the fans even get to see him under center. And make no mistake, the fans already want him. There are whispers, chants, Reddit threads, and media debates already forming around a player who hasn't seen real action. That kind of groundswell doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from an organization where confidence in the starter is hanging by a thread, and the backup is being treated like a golden ticket. And Kevin Stefanski? The head coach who could shut this all down with one sentence? He's doing the opposite. Every time he talks about Sanders, he dodges. Every time he's asked to confirm the quarterback hierarchy, he keeps it ambiguous. That's not nothing. In the NFL, coach speak tells you everything. And when a head coach refuses to back his starter without conditions, it means that starter's job is already on the line. Especially in Cleveland. A city where quarterback controversies are practically a seasonal tradition. But this isn't the same old Browns drama. This one feels different. This time the locker room is speaking. The players are picking sides. And even ownership seems to be paying attention. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner, has been known to involve himself in personnel decisions, sometimes to a fault. And if you think he hasn't heard the praise for Sanders from inside his own building, think again. If the tide turns and Gabriel struggles, Haslam is not going to let this ride out in silence. He'll want to act fast. And that's the scary part for Gabriel. Because he's not playing for job security anymore. He's playing for every single snap. Every throw he misses, every third down he fails to convert, every interception. It all becomes ammunition. Not just for fans, but for teammates, coaches, executives. The Browns' next few games could be career-defining. And the moment Gabriel stumbles, the door swings open. Shedeur Sanders doesn't need a full game. He needs a window. And the way this story is unfolding, that window is about to blow wide open. Against Pittsburgh? Against that pass rush? Gabriel better be perfect. Because if he's not, and the chants start and the sidelines stir, we could be looking at a full-blown quarterback change before the season even finds its rhythm. This is pressure that goes beyond X's and O's. This is psychological warfare. Fans chanting for your replacement before you've even taken your helmet off. Media asking your teammates about the backup. Veterans whispering about who really leads this offense. That's not just stressful, it's destabilizing. And Sanders? He's standing in the eye of the storm, calm, collected, and ready. That's what makes this so compelling. Because it's not just about hype. This is a player who's doing everything right behind the scenes. And even without the game day film, that's already earning him credibility where it matters most. He's the son of Deion Sanders, sure, but that's not what's getting him this attention. It's his preparation, his discipline, his ability to step into a professional locker room and act like he's already part of the leadership core. And that is rare. This isn't a team desperate for a savior. This is a team choosing the guy they think can lead them. It's about work ethic over reputation, command over comfort. The Browns might not say it outright, but their actions, and the words of their top players, are spelling it out. Shedeur Sanders looks like the quarterback of the future. Gabriel still technically has the job, but every second he's on the field now is a tryout. He's not playing to win games anymore. He's playing to keep his seat from collapsing underneath him. And it's not just because of Grossi's comment, but let's be honest. When a media figure that close to the organization goes nuclear on live TV, calling your starting quarterback a loser, there's no walking that back. That's not just a criticism. That's a line in the sand. A statement that the clock is ticking. So here's where we're at. Shedeur Sanders is being praised like a starter, talked about like a leader, and studied like a franchise quarterback. Dillon Gabriel is being questioned, scrutinized, and set up for a fall. The coaching staff won't confirm a thing. The players are already shifting their allegiance. And the fans? They've made their preference pretty clear. This isn't a controversy waiting to happen. It's already happening. The only question now is when. When does Shedeur Sanders officially take the field? When does Kevin Stefanski make the call? When does Gabriel lose the huddle, and with it, the job? The Browns are at a crossroads. And the next few weeks could define not just the season, but the future of the franchise. So what do you think? Is Gabriel already done, or can he hold off the inevitable? Is Sanders the real deal, or just another overhyped backup waiting for his shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know where you stand. And if you're into NFL chaos, QB drama, and players getting called out on live TV, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this story? It's only just getting started. Here's what nobody is saying out loud, but everyone is thinking. This is a transition of power. Not just from Dillon Gabriel to Shedeur Sanders, but from old-school quarterback politics to a newer, performance-driven culture shift inside the Browns organization. And you can feel it. The leadership vibe is changing. The tone of the locker room is different. The energy isn't about waiting your turn anymore. It's about earning it. And Shedeur? He's out here earning it every single day. This guy is treating practice like it's the playoffs. He's sitting in the coach's office before the lights are even on, breaking down film like he's been in the league for 5 years. That's not normal rookie behavior. That's obsessive. That's quarterback obsessive. The kind of obsessive that wins over locker rooms before you even throw a game-winning touchdown. Meanwhile, Gabriel's biggest problem isn't even his performance right now, it's perception. Once your teammates start viewing you as the placeholder instead of the playmaker, you've already lost half the battle. And the worst part? Gabriel knows it. You can see it on his face during post-practice interviews. That weight. That subtle tension. That look that says, I'm one interception away from losing it all. And the media is circling like sharks. That Tony Grossi moment wasn't just a personal attack, it was a green light. Now every beat reporter, every sports radio host, every talking head feels empowered to pile on. The Gabriel narrative isn't just fragile, it's fragile and on fire. And Shedeur Sanders is sitting there with a fire extinguisher and a helmet. Let's be real, this kind of internal momentum doesn't happen unless there's a growing belief that change is inevitable. Coaches start giving the backup more reps in walkthroughs. Veteran players start name-dropping him in interviews. Coordinators start slipping in a few packages, just in case. And when all of that happens before week 6, that's not development. That's succession planning. And the Browns coaching staff? Oh, they're being very careful with their words. Kevin Stefanski could end all the speculation with one sentence. Dillon Gabriel is our guy. That's it. That's the quote. But he won't say it. Why? Because he doesn't believe it. Not fully. Not anymore. And if your head coach is even a little unsure about who's leading the offense, that doubt spreads like wildfire. Which brings us to the games ahead. The Browns aren't exactly walking into cupcake matchups. They've got Pittsburgh on the horizon. A defense that loves nothing more than feasting on quarterbacks under pressure. And Dillon Gabriel? He's going to be under a lot of pressure. From the defense, from the fans, from the sidelines, hell, probably even from his own huddle. Because the second Gabriel throws behind a receiver on 3rd and long, you know the crowd's going to start that slow, rising chant, Shedeur, Shedeur, and once that chant starts there's no turning back. It's blood in the water. Let's not underestimate the mental side of this either. Playing quarterback in the NFL is already a mental chess game. Now add in the anxiety of knowing every drive might be your last as a starter. Every incompletion, every delay of game, every broken play, it's all fuel for the fire. That's not just pressure. That's sabotage disguised as competition. And yet, Sanders isn't even flinching. That's what's so wild about this. He's not rattled by the media hype. He's not tweeting cryptic messages. He's not grandstanding in front of cameras. He's just working. Quietly, obsessively, relentlessly. And that silence? It's deafening. Because it's the kind of silence that says, I know I'm next. I'm just waiting for the door to open. Now, if you're Browns ownership, and we know Jimmy Haslam likes to meddle, you have to be seeing all of this play out and thinking, do we really want to wait? Because the worst thing you can do is sit on a quarterback controversy too long. It divides the locker room. It drains the momentum. It becomes the story instead of just part of the process. So what's the holdup? Well, there's always the PR angle. You don't want to look like you're giving up on Gabriel too fast. That sends a message that development means nothing, and it makes future QB prospects think twice about coming to your franchise. But at the same time, winning now matters. And if the coaching staff, the players, and the film all start pointing to Sanders being the better option, you have to pull the trigger before the team does it for you. Because, let's be honest, there are already guys in that locker room who believe the team belongs to Sanders. And that kind of belief? You can't fake it. You can't coach it. You either have it or you don't. And once it shifts, it stays shifted. The harsh truth is this: Gabriel could play well and still lose his job. That's how far the narrative has already swung. Because if Sanders is viewed as better for the culture, better in the locker room, better for the future, then Gabriel is just keeping the seat warm. And that's a brutal place to be. You can feel the timeline shrinking. One more loss. One more red zone misfire. One more post-game press conference where Gabriel says, I've got to be better, and nobody buys it. That's all it takes. The leash is that short. The margin for error is that small. And when Sanders gets his shot, he doesn't have to be perfect. He just has to be composed, competent, confident. If he looks like a leader, throws with poise, and commands the offense like he's been doing in practice, that's it. The job's his. And Gabriel becomes a trivia question. What we're watching isn't just a quarterback battle. It's a power shift. From a player who had the title to one who's already earned the trust. From a team that used to reward potential to one that's now chasing readiness. The Browns are changing. You can see it in the way players speak, the way coaches hesitate, the way insiders leak just enough to stir the pot. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not forcing the change. He is the change. The future of the franchise isn't waiting. It's already walking the halls, sitting in meetings, studying the game like a surgeon. All it needs is a chance. And that chance is coming. Sooner than anyone's saying out loud. This is no longer a debate about potential. We are now firmly in when not if territory. And if you've followed the NFL for longer than 5 minutes, you know how fast these things escalate. It starts with whispers. The kind of behind-the-scenes chatter that insiders like Tony Grossi just happen to pick up. Then come the subtle shifts, the way the offensive line starts responding more to the backup during walkthroughs. The wide receivers joking around with him during warm-ups just a little more. The way the cameras linger on him during practice even when he's not taking the first team snaps. All signs. All smoke. And where there's smoke in the NFL, there's usually a PR wildfire waiting just out of frame. Let's not understate what it means that veterans, not rookies, not fringe guys, are going on record singing Shedeur Sanders' praises. When Jerry Jeudy talks about a quarterback's understanding of the game, that means something. When Myles Garrett, the undisputed alpha of the Browns defense, is name-dropping a backup as a leader, that's not lip service. That's endorsement. That's a team captain saying, "We've got our guy and he's not the one starting right now." Those moments build. And they become impossible to ignore. Think about the psychology here. You're Dylan Gabriel. You've been told you're the starter. You've put in the time. You've worn the headset, sat in the meetings, studied the playbook. And now, suddenly, the ground is moving under your feet. Not because of poor play necessarily, but because someone else is outworking you, out-preparing you, and out-leading you, without even stepping onto the field. It's not just pressure. It's isolation. You feel the shift happening in real time and you're powerless to stop it. And the worst part? Everyone's watching. Not just the fans but your teammates, your coaches, the owner. And let's not kid ourselves, Jimmy Haslam has never been a hands-off type. He wants a winner. He wants a spark. And if he believes the guy bringing that spark is Shedeur Sanders, then it's only a matter of time before the calls from the top start trickling down the coaching ladder. That's how these transitions happen in real life. Quietly. Then all at once. One bad half against a divisional rival? The locker room changes. One pick six on national TV? The narrative locks in. One emotional moment on the sideline, Sanders clapping, rallying guys even as Gabriel's drive stalls, and suddenly everyone knows. The moment is here. The team has chosen. And Gabriel? He's the only one who didn't get the memo. The brutal reality of the NFL is that it's rarely about fair. It's about feel. And the Browns are feeling Shedeur Sanders right now. That's the vibe. That's the undercurrent in every headline, every cryptic Stefanski presser, every unnamed source quote floating out to the media. And those things don't leak unless someone wants them to. It's all part of the rollout. The slow conditioning of fans and press to accept what's already happening behind closed doors. The next stage? It's public. It's visible. You'll start seeing more camera time for Sanders during broadcasts, even while Gabriel's under center. Analysts will start framing plays in a "how would Sanders handle this?" kind of way. The production truck will cut to Sanders' reactions after every failed Gabriel drive. It's all a setup. It's all part of the shift. And when it happens, no one's going to be surprised. Because let's be honest, the Browns aren't trying to ease a rookie into the system anymore. They're building around him in real time. They're reinforcing the leadership structure from the bottom up, not the top down. That's a subtle difference, but it changes everything. It means Sanders is being viewed as the foundation, not just the insurance policy. He's not the contingency plan, he's the plan. The coaching staff just hasn't said it out loud yet. And when they do, it's going to come with a full press rollout. The "he's been working hard" quotes. The "we've seen enough to give him a shot" lines. The "we believe in both our quarterbacks" platitudes. But the subtext will be clear. This is Shedeur's team now. Gabriel's role will quietly shift to the background. The media will shift their focus. The locker room will rally behind the new guy because that's how these things go. Once a leader emerges, the rest of the team follows. And right now, the players have already picked their quarterback. There's a reason guys like Jeudy and Garrett aren't mincing words. They're not afraid of rocking the boat because they know where the boat is headed. You can't stop a culture shift once it starts. And that's exactly what's unfolding in Cleveland. This isn't just a quarterback controversy, it's a pivot point for the franchise. A team long defined by instability at the most important position is suddenly leaning into a player who looks, acts, and prepares like he's been here before. Because for all the flash that comes with being Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur's making waves in the least flashy way possible, by being ready. Every day, every rep, every film session. That's how you take over a team before you even play a down. And honestly, that's what makes this so different from your usual backup QB hype cycle. This isn't media-driven buzz. This isn't fans falling in love with a preseason highlight. This is internal. It's coming from inside the house. The Browns' locker room is quietly being rebuilt around Sanders' approach to the game. His obsession with preparation, his ability to lead without being loud, his calm presence under pressure. All the intangible stuff that doesn't show up in a stat sheet but makes or breaks careers. That's what's tipping the scales. And it's not just about the locker room either. The fans? Oh, they're already there. You think they're going to give Gabriel a second chance if he lays an egg against Pittsburgh? Not a chance. Not in Cleveland. Not with Sanders waiting in the wings. That's the thing about fan bases that have been burned so many times. They don't have patience for wait and see. They want proof. They want fire. And they want it now. Shedeur represents that potential. Gabriel represents the same old. And that's not a good place to be. The more Gabriel plays safe, the more people will call him tentative. The more he tries to lead, the more people will compare it to Sanders' natural presence. It's a lose-lose. And unless Gabriel pulls off something miraculous in the next few games, a big win, a dominant performance, a highlight reel moment, it's hard to see a scenario where he doesn't get replaced. Not because he's awful, but because someone better is already in the room. And everyone knows it. So here's where we are. Shedeur Sanders hasn't been named the starter. But he's being treated like one. The players? They've picked him. The fans? They're chanting for him. The media? They're circling the switch. And the Browns front office? They're holding their breath, just waiting for the right moment to make it official. Dillon Gabriel isn't just fighting for his job. He's fighting against gravity. And that's a battle no quarterback wins. So, Browns fans, NFL obsessives, and chaos chasers, what do you think? Are we already watching the end of the Gabriel era before it ever really began? Is Sanders about to walk through the door and take over without ever looking back? Let us know in the comments. Who should start? Who will start? And are we witnessing the rise of the next great Browns quarterback? Or just another messy chapter in the NFL's most cursed QB history? Drop your take below, smash that subscribe button if you live for the drama, and stay tuned, because something huge is brewing in Cleveland. And when the dust settles, we'll be right here breaking it all down.